So, you know the deal. Go right ahead and talk to us about this. You know, this is one of those things, Deanna, that I think just shocked the nation. Nobody knew that he wasn't doing well. He worked through all of these things. As James Brown's daughter and on behalf of the Brown family, what are you saying about the death of Mr. Boseman?
Well, first, I offer my heartfelt condolences to his family, his wife, and mother and father, and sisters and brothers and family. He's from not far from where I am. He's from Anderson, South Carolina. It's less than 2 hours from me. And so we really was devastated to hear of his passing. We did not know that he was sick as well. And but it speaks volumes to his spirituality, his faith, and his work ethic. That it did not stop him from doing the work that he did so well and so eloquently. He did this with grace, with a lot of grace,
Mm.
as you look back and think about it. And so I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
um, I, so when I think about him and think about the time that we spent together when he came to Augusta, he did come to Augusta, and he spent the whole weekend with us. Him and Tate Taylor, the director of the film Get On Up, and they wanted to get insight on my dad. They spent a lot of time talking with my mother, of course, me and my sister, and my husband. And it was great to know that he was just that serious about making sure his portrayal was true, was in the true sense of James Brown. It was important to him to talk and to listen. We took him where my dad was, where he went to school, where he grew up, where he owned businesses, where we lived, different places where he would frequent to eat. And we told him different mannerisms and different nuances of my dad, and he used them. He used them. There's a there's a part in the film towards the end where he's got on a red suit and he's walking down this long corridor from the dressing room to the stage. And if you look at that walk, oh wow, that is a James Brown swag. That is the James Brown walk. He's got that whole thing, and it's eerie when I watch it. It's so eerie.
Well,
But
I know it means a lot. I know it means a lot to a family, Deanna, when
yeah.
someone takes on the role of your loved one,
And
and
my
that's.
son, my
Mhm.
son Jason worked on the film in Mississippi. He was on production. He was on set every day, and he said that Chadwick said that, while most of us are here because we have to work, we got to pay bills, we got to feed our families. This is your family's history, and I want to make sure that we stick as close to truths as we can. Of course, it's Hollywood. It's going to be drama. There's going to be things that they do, but I could appreciate Chadwick wanting to be sure that he did the best that he could do to make sure truth was there.
Well, and I know, I mean, we keep hearing this over and over again in all of his roles, just how much he put into it, the grace that he brought to it. Talk to us about what you're doing to keep his legacy alive. I saw that the James Brown Foundation is announcing a scholarship. Um,
Yes, yes. We have decided that to keep in the spirit of Chadwick Boseman and his legacy, to offer this to a one deserving student going to the James Brown Academy of Music Pupils, which is a year-round after-school program. And in the summer, we have a few weeks where we spend time with our kids and teach them music education. They're learning how to play instruments. and they're getting opportunities and being able to be experienced and exposed to different things and places and people that they would have never been exposed to. So we want to offer this scholarship, the Chadwick Boseman Scholarship, for a student, female or male, that's interested in the arts or in music, and give them that opportunity because, you know, Chadwick is a huge inspiration to a lot of young kids out here right now. You know, that superhero thing is real to children. You was a child, remember? And we looked up to our superheroes. And so we want to make sure that we're able to give back in his honor as well, just like he did with my dad. So one student can say they went to the James Brown Academy of Music pupils on a Chadwick Boseman scholarship.
I mean, it just is so beautiful to see you making this type of contribution and making this known to the public. One of the things that we know about James Brown is just how much pride he had, how much he loved his community. You know, even when he wasn't feeling well, I think on some of his last days, he was out trying to give back to his community. It's just the type of person that he was. To see, in some ways, they're saying it's the same type of person Chadwick was, that he worked, that he was doing these things, even when he wasn't feeling well. Talk about
He
that
embodied
parallel.
he embodied the character so well. To me, he's just the epitome of Black excellence. But he also has said himself that he took, every time he did a character, he took something from that character with him and it stayed with him. And he said that when it's that scene where he's walking in the lab in Black Panther and he greets the guards standing on each aisle, on each side with the Wakanda sign. And the way he walks in there with this bad A walk like, he said that that was this James Brown that was in him.
Wow.
So, you know, he says when he sat on the throne as the king in Black Panther, that was the Thurgood Marshall in him. So, you know, that's amazing when not only do you do well on screen, on camera, but you take something away that inspires you and that helps build you and your character as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about the icons that he portrayed, that was a lot of weight on him to have to study these types of men, these strong Black men who changed the very industry that they came from. Jackie Robinson changed baseball for Black men, and Thurgood Marshall changed the political scene when he was the first to do what he did. My father changed music industry, being the creator of funk music and being the most sampled artist ever. He takes on these types of artists, he takes on these types of people. One came from sports, one comes from politics, and the other from entertainment. And you don't just study them to act like them, but you get to know them as men from their families and people who knew them best. That's quite a bit to shoulder, but he did it well.
You know, many people will say he really was put on the map with his role as your father, that it was James Brown who really introduced Chadwick Boseman to a larger audience. What does that mean to you and the family?
Well, again, we know the impact that James Brown still is around the world and to generations coming up still. I mean, he's not even here and he's impacting generations again. He is the most sampled artist ever. So it's gratifying and humbling.
Mm. Well, thank you so much, Deanna, for making a time to speak with us. I know we hate it under these circumstances, but we did want to give the Brown family a chance to speak to our audience just about the loss that this is for so many across the country. Final words, what would you leave with the folks here in Sacramento?
You know, I've been checking out on social media these young children, I mean, real young kids who lost their superhero. And it's hurting to them. I mean, they're having memorials with their little superhero toys and their Black Panther toy, and they're crying. And to them, it really hurts. And I just want us to not forget the least of ours, our young children, how important they are for our future and how important our future is. And that's what we saw in Chadwick. He was a giving young man. And I think in his spirit and his honor, if we could just be a little bit Chadwick and give a little to help a young child, God knows we could help make this world a better place.